Hey everyone, it's James from Summit Together. I'm back to give you my roundup of the Garmin Enduro 3, 10 days in. Now, a little bit later than planned. Fortunately, I got busy and life got on the way, but I'll keep this short and just give you the lowdown on the high level important things that people have been asking about. So yes, the size, it's considerably bigger than the 36 or the 42 or any of the various other sizes you will have had a Garmin in before. I'm not noticing any difference really. It's not bothering me in the slightest. Yes, it is bigger. It takes up more room on my wrist, but it isn't bothering me at all. I've got a 17 centimeter wrist, if that helps you. So that's what it looks like on my wrist. Yeah, it's bigger, but I think it's fine. And like I said, I've not given it a second thought, so I don't think you should worry about it either. The brightness, the difference, the clarity, it's not an AMOLED. That's just the end of it really. If you've already got an AMOLED or are used to it, you're going to notice a bit of a difference there for sure. But if you're like me, who've stepped up from the Fenix 6, or you've had another watch that didn't have the AMOLED, you're going to find that the Garmin Enduro 3 is more than capable of doing what you need. It's just not an AMOLED. So get over it, move on. Things you can do to enhance the experience of the screen, I've noted. Changing just the accent colors, some just appear brighter than others, quite a simple tweak. But not only that, you've got text functions, you can increase the size. I have it set on quite a small size and that works for me, but if you want it blown up, you can go and make it quite considerably larger. You can also fiddle around with the brightness. I currently have it, I think about 2 or 3 out of a possible 8. And again, it's fine for me. I think the sapphire glass really keeps it clear and I don't have any issues with it. Lastly, you've of course got the gesture-based backlight. You can have that set up so when you just flick your wrist, the light pops on, no issues. But if you're worried about battery life, you can set that to come on at sunset only. You can have it different on activities. So you can really play around with it. But I never had an issue with my Fenix and not being able to see things. And I've not had an issue with this now. In fact, I find it really reactive to my needs. So brightness, clarity, if you've already got an AMOLED, yes, you're going to take a step back, but it is not a big step back and it's more than capable of what you need. And if you haven't got an AMOLED, I think you're going to find that it's a decent screen and more than capable for what you need. So the touchscreen, just quickly on that, that's new for me, maybe not for you. I find it really responsive. I like the way you've got the buttons as well. It auto locks for you, so you don't have to worry about anything happening when you're out on a run. And a simple swipe down and it's open again. Or just do what I do, use the buttons. And that's what I'm used to using. No issues there. So what's new? The power meter, that's new for me. I've not had that on a previous watch. After a bit of research, I've noticed that they take tons of metrics, not only from the watch, but if you've got the HMR Pro heart rate strap, it'll also take data from there. And that'll be another way of testing what you're doing on your runs, essentially. Now, in particular, I find that the power meter is most useful on shorter intervals. Main reason being, as we know, when we do a 30-second or a minute interval, it takes a while for that heart rate to get up, whereas your power, that's instant. So you might find you want to look at your power when you're doing an interval session, but you may look at high level across your heart rate for a longer, easy endurance run. So I like the power meter, it's new, and I'm going to be testing it more over the coming weeks and just seeing how I can use it best and get the most out of it. Now, the new interface, which I believe is new for the 8 and the Enduro 3, includes things like folders. Essentially, that is a way of putting the many different types of activities and metrics into folders of your choice, just to group it, just to make it nice and tidy, so you don't have to open one menu and have, upwards of 30 or 40 different things in there. There's so much more to do on this watch, so I think it's quite a good feature. It does just help declutter things. If you're a bit OCD like me, I quite like it. And you'll also notice that when you're on an activity, you actually get 3 lanes. The central lane on the watch essentially gives you all your day-to-day data screens that you set up. Now, if you swipe left, you will get the options. For example, if you've set up a route, and then we all know when you set up a route, it brings in a whole load of data metric screens. Sometimes those can be irritating because you might not want any of those, you might just want the map, but they pocket those all in the left lane in a folder, nice and easy. And it's really simple to switch back and forth. You can do it by a swipe, you can do it by the buttons, no issues. And if you go to the right hand lane, that's where you'll find your music. I haven't set any of that up yet. Might not bother with it personally, but it's there for all the Spotify and other music apps available. And one thing I also wanted to mention, which I found quite surprising, was this watch is 1 gram heavier than my Garmin 6S Pro. Now, I know how they've done it. Main thing is, I know the strap, that silicone strap is just considerably heavier. It was a heavier watch. The titanium in it is heavier. Yes, this is also titanium, but they only use the titanium on the bezel. The rest of it's plastic. Do I notice? No. Do I care? No. It's really good considering the watch was a 36mm and this is a 51mm and it only weighs 1 gram more. And the strap, I prefer this strap anyway. So just wanted to add that in there if weight you thought might be an issue, not just the size of it. Hopefully that will answer your question, because if you've got a bigger watch than a 36mm and it's on a silicone strap, the likelihood is it's going to be the same weight, if not heavier. So one thing I wanted to talk about, which is really important to me and what I found most useful about the watch, is the new heart rate sensor. I must be 2 generations behind at least. At first, I used to really like the fact you could track your sleep and things like this. In the end, I actually binned it all off. I had to remove all warnings and data screens on my watch and in the app, because it was actually counterproductive, because it kept telling me I was having bad night's sleep, which would make me worry the next night about whether I was going to get a good night's sleep. But having this watch, this sensor is clearly doing something right, because I'm listening to it because it's telling me I'm having much better sleep. But I believe that's just based on the fact that it's capturing data more efficiently and better. And there's other metrics now that come into it, like sleep coach. So if you've had a bad night's sleep or a busy day, it gives you an estimate of how much sleep it thinks you'll need. It measures things like your body temperature more accurately as well now. They've really stepped up. Naps. That was not a feature on my watch before. It is now, and I can tell you from some testing last week that it does work. And again, these metrics, when they're recorded, go to help your training readiness, the sleep coach, and other areas to help you get a sense of how your body might be feeling. Now, of course, we should always go by how we think we feel, but sometimes it's nice just to get that extra data in there and compare the two. So the Generation 5 sensor as a whole, I think is really good. Now the torch. You may have had a torch on your last watch. I don't know how good it was, but this torch is like that thing I didn't know I need. No, not for when I'm out in the trails. You're staying at a friend's house. You've not been there before. You're in the corridor, it's dark. We've all been there, right? Just double tap the top left button and out comes the torch. And it's pretty impressive. There's 4 settings of brightness, and the top setting is really bright. It's quite shocking from just such a small sensor. Really surprised. And it also has a red light. That's slightly less bright. If you're in a tent with someone and you don't want to wake them up, you're looking for something, you can ping the red one on, and it's not as aggressive, shall we say. The one thing it is aggressive on though is battery life. So don't do what I did and leave it on by mistake. Despite that, with all the leavings on accidentally of the torch and fiddling around with it constantly, tweaking settings, setting up new screens for runs, setting up courses, rerouting when I'm on runs, I've really pushed it, and I've pretty much cleaned out the battery now. We're down to 2 days. And I'd say I've probably used, I think when it came, it had about half, it was half charged. So just coming up to 2 weeks now, I've caned it. Now, of course, it says it goes up to 90 days, and I'm going to be probably able to get, on this basis, a maximum of a month, out of it. So let's just take into consideration, I am giving it quite heavy usage. It's getting at least 2 to 3 hours a day of activity tracking. Not only that, I have it set up on the every second function. The smart function, as it's known, basically just means it records every 3 seconds. So, I mean, not much smart about that, but it counts every 3 seconds. So I like my data bang on, particularly when I'm doing interval sessions, as I'm sure you would do too. So I just have it on every second. And that's another reason why I've bought a watch that has this sort of battery life. So all in all, I don't know whether it's going to do 320 hours GPS or anything like that. I really can't tell you. But I just think for more than the average person, the battery life this watch can do is enough. So lastly, my best feature today, how about this? You know, when you're fiddling around, you're on a run, you're lost, something's happened, you're on the map, and you're fiddling around trying to find something, and then you zoom out, you zoom in, and then you're like, oh no, I've just hit the lap button. Well, might not bother you, but that really bothered me. Anyway, they've sorted that. I don't know when, but they've sorted it now. If you hit that lap button, immediately on your left-hand side, bottom left button, you can reverse that lap. So, might not mean anything to you, but it's the simple things for me. The lap button is the winning feature for me at the moment. So, I'm gonna wrap it up here. I don't want to chew your ear off anymore. Those are the headlines on the watch for me, 10 days or so in. If there's anything else you want to know about it, I'm going to leave you in peace for a few weeks. I'm going to give it some good testing. I'm off to Snowdonia this weekend, where I'm going to be out running, hiking, dog walking, mountain biking. I'm hopefully going to get on many modes of transport whilst I'm there, giving it a real good seeing to. So if you're not ready to take the plunge yet based on my information, fine. Tell me what you want to know and I'll do my best to answer those questions for you. So that's all from me. I'm going to wrap it up here on the second part of my review of the Garmin Enduro 3. There will be a third part. I'll keep it short. I'll keep it factual. Tell me what you want to see about it. But this time we're going to take a month and we're going to really give it a good testing. I'm off to Snowdonia on the weekend. Going to be spending a few weeks out there. Going to be out hiking, trail running, fell running, mountain biking, hiking, dog walking, you name it, I'm going to give it a go. So if there's anything in particular you want to see, drop it in the comments and I'll do my best to answer your questions there. So thank you to all my new subscribers once again, and thank you to anybody who's interested in seeing more content from me. If you are, you know what to do, hit that subscribe button. And if you've liked what you've seen today, you know what to do. But equally, if you haven't liked what you've seen, you're going to hit that dislike button. That's cool. But tell me what it is. I want to hear what you've got to say. No offense will be taken. So negative or positive, drop it in the comments and let me see if we can sort you out. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video.